Hey, what's going on with it, ladies and gentlemen, ponies and gentlemen? This is the one, the only Criticism Guide 2009, aka until for 2011. Already begun. I know I'm a week and a half early on this shit, but you know why I decided to do this list now? I was gonna do another top 10 Pokemon related thing, which will be top 10 sexiest Pokemon designs of all time, and you will see that probably tomorrow if I don't see today. Maybe Friday at the latest, because I got a lot of shit to do on Wednesday and Thursday. It's gonna be way too much to do on my list on those 2 days. Might have to be off on YouTube for a little bit there. But, without further ado, hopefully you read the title of the above and below. This is top 10 best villains of all type of genres of all time. And yeah, I didn't decide just to stick with Marvel or just DC or any other things like anime, manga shit. Or I decided to bring all of them all into form in just one. I don't know if anyone's ever done this on YouTube yet, but you know what? I could possibly be the first, obvious subscriber to ever talk. I cannot talk today at all. I don't know why. I could be the first YouTuber ever to talk about this. So without further ado, let's begin. So coming in at number 10, classic 80s, early 90s villain, most scariest motherfucker of all time. Didn't really scare me too much in my dreams. I thought it was a joke as fuck. Freddy Krueger. Let me tell you about Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger. Basically, he's based off getting into little kids and teenagers' dreams and basically killing them in their sleep. It's crazy as fuck if you think about it. It is a little scary as shit, but at the same time, I think it's freaking awesome shit. He's basically like an MLPFIM. If any of you guys seen that Luna thing where she goes into Scootaloo's dreams, kind of like that, except she doesn't kill him. She lets him live. Really crazy ass powers right there. I guess he got burned down in a factory because I guess he was a rapist, child molester, or something like that, a pedophile. And then one day, I guess he gets locked in a factory and this boiling water and lava or whatever falls on him and he dies and he gets burned really bad, severe skin injuries and shit. And a really fucked up story. Now, basically Freddy Krueger was a boss. He's just hardcore. Look at him. He's just something. He's like the evil version of Where's Waldo. If any of you guys don't know what Where's Waldo is, you can go on tablets, probably on iPhones, probably on there by now. It's where you find this dude or whatever. That's pretty much a riot. It's funny as hell. It's kind of like those old school magazines from the 80s and 90s. If any of you guys remember that shit. Other than that, he's got those big ass giant claws. Kind of got that Wolverine shit thing going on, except he's not a good guy, he's a bad guy. I think he was on DC something universe, I'm not sure. I think he might have been a Soul Calibur 3 a long time ago for the GameCube and Xbox, PS2, back in the days. And he was pretty fucking hardcore. I know in the other one, they had Lincoln, and the last one they had Spider-Man or Darth Vader. I'm not sure. Old school Soul Calibur. So if they ever bring that shit back, or they bring it to PS4, that'd be awesome as fuck, or the Xbox 720. What have you, would be nice. So that's Freddy Krueger for me in a nutshell. There's a lot more I could talk about him, but I'm keeping him short. Another old school 80s horror character was Michael Myers, number 9. The reason I put him low on the list, I wasn't really crazy about him. He didn't really scare the shit out of me. Everyone remembers Friday the 13th from the late 70s, early 80s and 90s. Basically it's hardcore. I know in the mid-late 90s version they had one with a really young Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes back in the day. I think it was 95, 96. I was like around 6, 7 years old when that shit came out. I don't remember it too well, but I do remember a little bit of it. I know Busta Rhymes gets his ass kicked for a little bit. It's like, man, you the Moreno black dude, man. You should be kicking his ass, bro. Michael Myers should be getting on his knees for Busta Rhymes, but no. This Michael Myers dude is a freaking boss. He's like 400-800 freaking pounds, and he's basically a living zombie. That's why he never shows his face. And he stabs people with his knife, and I think once in a while he'll have an axe thing, but not very much. And he just walks into people's desks and just stabs the living shit out of them, just kills them for no reason. I think they had a little bit of a backstory to him when he was a little kid. He used to get treated like really, really bad by his mom or his little white trash mom or dad, the ones that he had. And they had a favorite little brother or sister, and she always got that love that he never got, and that's what made him evil and just a vile monster, demonic horror. And then after that, he becomes Michael Myers. He dies, kind of like Jason a little bit, except Jason I think was in a hockey team or something before he died, and he dies in a lake or a river. So I guess that's the same thing. I don't know, but that's all I gotta say about Michael Myers. I actually got a little bit of a color version for you. It's awesome as fuck. The joke, the main thing that they have. And yeah, Kirsten Stewart. Who cares about that shit? But other than that, he's basically hard fucking core. So that's Michael Myers for you right there. Coming in at number 7, actually no, number 8, is Mr. Dr. Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik, one of Sonic the Hedgehog's craziest freaking main villains of the character, main bosses. The only villains of the bosses. I actually got a couple other pictures of them Found on Google Images, obviously. Where the fuck else? There's a real life version of him. I thought it was crazy as fuck. Whoever did that art, gotta give you lots of props because that looked bad fucking ass. Another thing I want to say about Dr. Eggman, he's straight out fucking boss. Literally, aka Dr. Robotnik, as some of the old school fans call him. I called him that or Eggman, it didn't really matter to me. I think I called him Dr. Eggman a lot more than Dr. Robotnik. I don't know why, I guess that's just me. He had all these cool ass machines he could use, you know, had the little thing with the wrecking ball, and he had a whole bunch of other ones like the machines, all these little missile launchers, laser beams, what have you. You named it, he fucking had it, literally. He was just a mad scientist on a mission, and his father was the one that was the good guy. The one that made Maria and Shadow the Hedgehog, but that's for another story. But other than that, you know, he's basically fucking hardcore. You know, the last thing you want to fuck with, I know he makes Team Dark or Rouge the Bat and Omega later on in Sonic Heroes. And a couple other ones after that. I kind of haven't heard him after Sonic Generations. Like the last time I heard him was like about 2 years ago. So I haven't heard him in a while. I think there's a brand new one coming out for the Wii U. I know a lot of fanboys out there are pissed off about that, but you know what? I'm not. By all means, fucking go for it. But that's all I got to say about Dr. Eggman, number 8. Number 7. Let me tell you about number 7 before I get into it. If any Pokemon fans out there remember this, you're going to thank me for it. It's, sorry about that. A little bit of a slight error there. Sorry. So, yeah, basically we got Giovanni. Giovanni, which is the head mafia boss leader of Team Rocket back in the first generation of Pokemon. He was basically a hardcore badass. You know, he had his Persian, he had his Rhydon, Nidoking, Kangaskhan. He had the same, like, anime team as he did in the movie, not manga, as he did in the video game series. I think the only one I think he didn't have was an Onyx, I guess. But in the game, I think he had the Onyx. I'm not sure that went. I think he might have had a Golbat too, I'm not sure. Other than that, you know, Giovanni, that was him back in the days, and this was about a year ago when I gave him a whole makeup leader over when he captured that Meloetta or something for 5th generation, and he wanted to use it for his own little evil deeds and purposes, his little selfishness. Another thing that makes him really fucking hardcore of the evil villain is that he had the mindset, he had everything. He had a Fortune $500 million company of Team Rocket, you know. He was basically on top of the world, even though he was the head leader of an organization that was evil. He captured, steal Pokemon, make them do evil things and stuff like that. You know, it was up to Ash. In the old school one, it was up to Ash, Misty, and Brock to stop them for first, second gen. And then third gen, it was up to Ash, May, and Brock and Dawn to stop them, even Max sometimes. And then fourth gen, that's the last time they were kooky and crazy as fuck, was when Dawn and Brock stopped them. And that's when Brock finally leaves, which sucked. It sucked because he was a ladies' man. He's kind of like a pimp. Kind of like a pimp, not like me, but still hardcore. He was into bitches like I was. I know that. Especially with Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy. For me, probably would have been Officer Jenny. So I don't know why. Nurse Joy, she wasn't as hot as Officer Jenny was. I don't know why. And that sexy officer suit, bitch was cute as fuck. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Giovanni. You know, he had hardcore Pokemon. He had Team Rocket working for him. He had a whole bunch of other organizations he took out, like Team Galactica, Magma, Aqua, and the last one, Team Plasma, the old enemy one. And yeah, I don't know if he's still going to make an appearance of 6th gen, but he's a real mafia boss. So coming in the number, okay, I did 9 or 7. I think I'm on number 6 or 5, I don't know. Coming number 6, I think, is Wrath from Full Metal Alchemist. I'm going to get to the other one too in a second, but let me tell you about this one, Wrath. I don't know if you guys can see it on the thing below. Hopefully you can see it on the description below. But yeah, basically, he's just a... He's kind of a little bit of a brat, but at the same time, it says on the bottom, I don't know if you can hear it, Envy and his teammates were all created by the idiots who attempted to body alchemy long ago. That's what it was called. And if any of you guys have ever heard of this anime, Full Metal Alchemist, I think it's a badass anime, so check it out. Same with the Brotherhood edition, too. It's about these two kids named Edward and Elric. They're trying to get their parents back, trying to get back into their normal bodies, because Edward, he lost his arm and his leg, literally, so he has to use like a steel metal version of that, hence the name Full Metal Alchemist. And then Edward lost his whole body, so he only has his soul attached to this machine thing, which is crazy as fuck. I thought it was a little creepy as fuck when I was a teenager, but now that I'm older, I thought it's cool as shit. Like a transformer for reals. But other than that, you know, this dude is just hardcore. He's a little kid. I think he was supposed to be the baby of one of their teachers or something. And it was an experiment gone wrong. It's a homunculus. There's these really strong creatures, demonic creatures that like to destroy people's lives and basically manipulate their minds, physically, mentally, and emotionally. and they just don't give a flying fuck about nobody but themselves. So their selfishness kind of comes in handy here. So it sucks, but it is what it is. And I don't know what power he had. I think he had water powers. I'm not sure, but he's cool as fuck. So at number 5, speaking of another homunculus, is fucking Rap. I don't know what it was about Rap. I could never tell if it was a boy or a girl. I don't know why. It just boggled the fuck out of my mind. Is Rap a dude or a bitch? I cannot fucking tell. I think it might have been a guy though, because I never saw tits on it. So it was probably a dude. So not Rap, Envy. Envy, I could never understand it. But other than that, it just blew my mind. The way he used to fight, kick ass and shit like that. He used to do all those little rolling kicks. I think he had a little bit of firepower too, I'm not sure. I know when he fought Colonel Mustang, he lost, and then he found out it was revealed he was a little lizard thingy. He wasn't even a real human or homunculus. He was just full of like self-righteousness. He only cared about his own thing. He hated all the homunculus. He liked doing his own thing. He was created by the father or whatever. Not God or whatever, but he wanted to be God. It was Ed and Al's dad later on in the future, which sucked. Basically, it was a boss that didn't give a shit about nothing. He had these lizard powers too. He could climb on walls and shit, and he could see in the dark. Really, really fucking evil. It's probably a nightmare come true in the anime world. I thought it was cool as fuck. So that's Wrath for you. I guess his weakness was fire. So yeah, I'm coming down to the list. Number 5, the Joker. Really don't need an explanation for this dude. He's just a hardcore, maniacal, psychological, psychopathic, crazy fuck with a capital F, U-C-K. And his really hot-ass assistant, Harley Quinn. I already got into her a long time ago. I'm not going to get into her a third time. So yeah, that's the Joker for you. I'm not going to really talk too much about it. I like the Heath Ledger version a little bit better, even though rest in peace to Heath Ledger. He did die. I already talked about him a couple times. You know, forgot his fucking name. Jack Nicholson is the one that did his original Joker character, but he did it a lot better. But you know what? He was just maniacal and every sense of the word of a villain. And Batman's craziest adversary ever. And number 4, this is for all my bronies and pegasisters out there, or My Little Pony Friendship's Magic. I know this is really isn't considered a villain, but I want to call her a villain anyways. It's Queen Tricia Lo. I really hope to God they put her in on the 4th season. The 3rd season, I was hoping they put her in, but they didn't put her in. Come on, Hasbro. Seriously. David Ingram and all you other people, you got to get not your heads out of your ass, but get your shit together and put her back in, because she's awesome as hell. I think she could end up being one of the good guys too, just like we did with Discord. Because Discord, he could go bad at any second, but he decided to stay nice for Fluttershy. A really cool ass thing I loved about Tricia Lo, she had the power of lust and love ever. She was able to do these solar beam things or whatever. She was a hardcore bitch. I didn't give a fuck about nobody but herself. Even though she was a little bit selfish, she had her whole army of changelings. And you know, they were set to do any other command that she said. She wanted it, they did it. They could transform into any different type of power altercation. She was kind of like a shapeshifter, just like Mystique from X-Men. Could compare her to that because she was a super cool ass bitch. I loved it. And I love that voice synthesizer they made for her too, like Darth Vader. It's like something like this, but different. It's like, with the lot of Mystique and all that, you know? Sick as fuck. But other than that, that's number 4 for you. So number 3, 2, and 1 is going to be a little bit crazy as fuck. It is Frieza. And let me tell you about Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Z Kai and GT, when he dies after he sees Cell and everything. I think it's pretty hardcore as fuck, because the way Frieza fought, he was the strongest being in the universe at the time in the Dragon Ball series. He even kicked Vegeta's ass a couple times, which was crazy as fuck. And he had his 2 henchmen, Zarbon and Dodoria. There's his first form. 2nd form, he looks a lot like his dad. 3rd form is this right here. He looks like a freaking Mars Stomper kid from Pokemon. Last but not least is that form, and then his 10 times form, he goes crazy as fuck. And then after that, what happens is he ends up getting defeated by Goku after like 20, 30 episodes. But Goku dies, unfortunately. It sucks. Sucks a lot of balls in a way. But other than that, you know, he's just a straight out boss. I love him. You know, I liked all his little like self-righteousness and shit like that. I liked his little mischievousness that he brought to the table as far as character development goes. As far as analysis goes, I don't know. He was basically an alien from another planet, obviously. Nothing new there. His father was kind of a lot more weaker than him. The mechanical Frieza was crap, but the other one was a lot better. And then Trunks defeats him, and then he goes to the other world, and they show him in GT combining with Cell, and then Goku finally defeats him once and for all when he turned to Ice and Stone, which is cool as fuck. And that's all I gotta say about Frieza. He had that death, like, crazy finger thing or whatever. I never really got into depth with that. But number 2 is a little bit of an anime thing. It's Muramasa. I really don't remember too much from it, except like he has the power to manipulate people's minds and see their death or whatever. And he has the power to control all the other Soul Reapers, Zanpakutos. And if any of you guys don't know what that is, definitely check out Bleach. It's one of the top 3 ever, besides One Piece and I guess Naruto and DBZ, if you want to put those 2 up there as well. Are the big 3 animes. And he's pretty much fucking hardcore. There's another one, I think he gets final form, I'm not sure. That's him making, he's about to defeat Ichigo in this form. And Ichigo, he had all the power and the strength, he just slashed the shit out of him, like with nothing. With his Bankai. He's like, Bankai! Boom! He's just straight out massive hits for the win. That's all I gotta say about Muramasa. I would tell you a lot more about it, but I don't want to be here 2 hours to do shit like that. And number 1, I was going to pick one of the other ones from Teen Titans, like Slays, Cinderbach, or Plasma, so I wanted to keep Blackfire because she's a cool-ass bitch. Had a huge-ass crush on her back in the middle school and high school years. This is the 80s version of it, 70s, 80s version. I thought she was bad fucking ass. You know, she has Star Bolts just like Starfire, her sister, which was one of the good guys. You know, she had a lot more higher experience in martial arts and all that law shit. You know, she knew how to fly, she knew how to do super strength, she knew a lot more like special defensive and attacking moves and everything, what have you. You know, she was the ex-Prince of Tamaran, but she ends up getting out later on. She defeats her, but then Starfire gets back up, defeats Blackfire, and then she gets like frozen in this time thing forever, which kind of sucked because she was so fucking badass. I don't know why. The only other person I could compare to her is in the old school Ben 10, that other chick, Charmcaster. That's the only other person I could compare to the sexiness. That's hot as fuck this bitch is. Speaking of sexiness, I will be talking about top 10 sexiest like drawn Pokemon ever. I know it sounds like a joke, but I will be doing that probably the next 2 days from now, which probably most likely Friday. Stay tuned for that. And like I always say, like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Is what it is, ain't what it ain't. See you when I see you guys. Have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're at around the world. Talk to you soon. Laters, goodbye, and peace out, all that good shit. Don't smoke weed and drink at the same time, and don't do anything reckless, okay? Later, YouTube. Peace out. I'm gone. See you soon, and take care. Bye.